we have to start this episode over. We have to redo this tomorrow.
Did you just drop all the biscuits?
Well, I didn't really drop it. It more just like fell out. Everything is great. The biscuits look great. They're in the freezer. The original ones I made. Hey everyone, I'm Claire Saffitz. Welcome to my home kitchen. Today I'm showing you my Miso Buttermilk Biscuits. It is a recipe that's buttery and flaky, and I love all the cheesy flavor that it gets from the miso, so I'm going to show you how to put it together. Miso is a fermented paste made from soybeans. It comes in many different colors, and the colors kind of correspond to how aged it is, and how aged it is corresponds to how intense the flavor is. So I use a sweet white miso, which is one of the milder kinds. If you've had miso soup, you're familiar with that kind of like umami flavor that you get from miso. And I'm incorporating it into the biscuits because it gives this incredible, almost cheesy flavor. So this is a savory biscuit, I should say. And other than that, it's basically a very straightforward buttermilk biscuit, and it just has that little extra touch from the miso. These biscuits I make by hand. I have a couple bowls, a whisk, a knife, a bench scraper. In terms of ingredients, I have some all-purpose flour, buttermilk, a little bit of sugar, some melted butter for brushing over the biscuits, a whopping ½ cup of miso. It's a lot of miso. You'll notice that I'm not adding extra salt. Miso is super, super salty, so that is adding seasoning as well as flavor to the biscuits. Some black pepper for cracking over top. Baking powder gives everything a little bit of lift. Cold unsalted butter cut into ½ inch pieces, and a little bit of baking soda. The first step of the recipe is to combine your buttermilk and your miso. I want it to be very evenly dispersed throughout so that you don't get like a really intense hit of miso, in like a little pocket. So to do that, I blend it with the buttermilk. If you were to do this with a darker, more aged miso that was like more intense, you might want to use less, but I haven't tested it, so you would have to kind of play around and take that gamble. So I have cold buttermilk here. That's important. I'm adding a few tablespoons at a time and just working the buttermilk into the miso. And I'm only doing it slowly to prevent lumps, thinning out the miso slowly. And once you've thinned it out by adding, like between 1/3 and half of the buttermilk, you can kind of just add the rest and stir it in. Still very cold. I'm gonna add it back to the measuring cup only because it'll make it easier to pour. And then I'm gonna pop it back in the fridge so that stays really cold while I work the butter in, because it's actually pretty hot in here. I have my all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add my leavener, so a tablespoon of baking powder. I keep looking for the salt, being like, don't forget to add the salt, but then remembering all the salt is coming from the miso. 1/4 teaspoon of soda. Anytime you have an acidic ingredient like buttermilk or yogurt or sour cream, there's usually a little bit of baking soda, and that creates this reaction immediately when you add the liquid that kind of adds to the lift and rise of the dough. A tablespoon of sugar. This is definitely a savory recipe. The sugar is there not really for sweetness, but to help bring out the other flavors and also to contribute to browning. So sugar is a really important ingredient in baking, even when it's savory. I'm gonna whisk all of that together. So this is 2 sticks of unsalted butter that I cut into ½ inch cubes. It's cold. I'm gonna add this. And this part I do with my hands. Sometimes you'll see a recipe, say I like do this in the food processor. I always like to work butter into any kind of flaky pastry, like a biscuit or a scone or a pie dough or anything like that, with my fingers. So the first thing I'm going to do is just separate all the pieces and coat them in the flour mixture. And then once you have all the pieces coated and separated, I'm going to smash. So what's nice about using your fingers is that you get butter pieces of all different sizes and shapes. So I like to smash just like that, flattening everything out. Try to work quickly because the heat from your hands will start to warm the butter. So I'm going to continue smashing until the largest pieces of butter are about the size of a pea. So before this warms up too much, I'm going to stop. These are like the bigger pieces of butter, and there's some smaller ones. So that's looking good. So I'm going to pour in this whole mixture. I made a little bit of a well, meaning I kind of cratered the flour so I can pour this into the center. Then with a fork, I'm gonna work this whole thing into the flour. And it's gonna create a little bit of a wet dough. I'm gonna actually switch to my flexible spatula, make sure that it's evenly mixed, so I'll kind of give it some folds. I'm gonna make sure there's no trapped flour on the bottom. See how there's some sort of dry areas down there? I wanna get rid of that. So now what I'm gonna do is turn everything out onto my surface. But first I'm gonna lay down some flour. This is a little bit of bench flour. Now you can use a bowl scraper or the spatula to bring it out of the bowl. So I still have some floury bits in there, but I'm going to first pat this down. We could just form the biscuits and cut them. However, I like to do kind of an intermediate step, which is a process of kind of stacking, like cutting and stacking the dough and forming layers. And what that's doing is taking all of those pieces of butter and not only flattening them, but multiplying sort of the number of layers that they form by stacking. And that's what's going to create wonderful flakiness and like separation and kind of lift in the biscuits. You can use the bowl scraper or the bench scraper. This is helpful in squaring off the sides. So I'm patting it down into a square. It could be a square rectangle, it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure it has an even thickness. So I'm going to show you how to stack it. I'm going to use my bench scraper to cut the dough into 4 quadrants. If you need to, you can flour it. So in half in one direction, and then in half in the other direction. Make sure that you're not sticking underneath. If you need to, you can lift up the dough and dust a little bit of flour underneath like that. Then I'm going to take another quadrant, put it right on top of the first. Kind of pat down. It's a pretty soft dough, so it shouldn't take any kind of effort to press it down. Then, same thing. Got this guy on top. If there's any like little pieces that fly off or any dry bits, put them between the layers. That's a great way to incorporate them. And they won't like fall off. So this little piece fell off. Just tuck that in there. That's all you want to do. Okay, so now I have my stack. And what we did is we took all of the butter and we basically quadrupled the number of layers in the butter. Now I'm going to flatten it again, and that is going to create all of these little sheets of butter, and the sheets equal flaky layers when it bakes. And now I'm going to use my rolling pin. I mean, it's still quite soft, so I could probably do this by hand. You can see I'm using one hand to kind of keep the sides nice and straight so it doesn't like turn into a circle, because I'm not going to punch out these biscuits. Even though a round biscuit might be like a little cuter and a little more traditional, I would rather have no waste and create no scraps when I'm punching out or when I'm cutting out the biscuits. And like you always have scraps when you do circles. So I like to cut these into squares.
What if you just bake that?
If I baked this, I do not think that would be good. One of the great things about biscuits is like oh, my rolling pin is so far in this drawer. One of the great things about biscuits is the like little crunchy edges. I want a good mix of crunchy edge and fluffy interior. So if you need to, you can give it a little more flour. I'm going to roll this out into a square that's about 8 by 8, which I'm probably already there. I highly recommend keeping a ruler in a kitchen drawer. It's just super useful when you're like portioning dough or rolling out dough. You want to always sort of know how far you need to go. So I have to move quickly because it's softening quite a bit. So I'm going to trim around the dough, and I'm just going to shave off the thinnest layer of dough from around the sides, and that is to straighten it out. So I have just like a little bit of scrap that I'm going to get rid of, but it's also to expose those layers of butter so that I have like full separation and kind of like, you know, like accordion expansion around all 4 sides of all the biscuits. I'm going to slice. This dough is a little soft. So now I'm going to cut this into 16 4x4 grid. So I'm going to transfer them to a plate, one by one, and I'm going to chill these. And in fact, I'm going to freeze them because I want to cool down that butter really quickly, because if that butter is not cold when the biscuits hit the hot oven, it's not going to have the same kind of flakage that I want. I'm going to put these in the freezer. They're going to cool down really fast, firm up, and while that's happening, I'll preheat my oven to 425. So I can get all 16 on one baking sheet. So I'm going to brush the tops. Then a little pepper. You don't have to include this if you don't want to. But I like when the thing on top like tells you something about it. Like the pepper kind of makes these unmistakably a savory biscuit rather than a sweet biscuit.
Would you do a flaky salt?
You could top these with a little bit of flaky salt. However, I feel like they're plenty salty with the miso in there. So I don't really think it needs any additional salt. So I'm going to leave it off for now. I think these are going to spread a little bit. They really could have chilled a little bit longer, but I had to make them again. So ideally these are a little colder than mine are. So these might flatten a little bit, but they'll still get a nice rise. I think I have all the baking powder. So these are going to go in and it'll take about 20 to 25 minutes when I turn it down to 375. It smells so good in here. It's almost making me forget how hot it is. What do you guys think it is? I love this game. I haven't played this in so long.
75.
78.
88.
It's 79.
Oh.
Price is Right rules. So my timer went off. That was 20 minutes. But they smell, ooh, they're done. They smell done to me. Ooh, they look so good. There's some butter pooling on the baking sheet. That is a sign that I didn't really let them rest long enough. So if you found that your pie dough or your biscuits or your scones leak, or your puff pastry for that matter, leak butter a bit, rest it longer next time. Let it chill. I pushed these a little bit in terms of their rest time. But here they are. I'm going to let them cool. We're going to taste them. It really smells like a cheesy scone just came out of the oven. So these are warm. Like the baking sheet is just warm on the bottom. I think they're better warm. I think biscuits are kind of in that category along with scones and croissants where like you really should eat them as fresh as possible. So I'm going to break into one. And actually to break into it, I'm going to kind of split it apart horizontally so you can see the layers. And what I like about doing it this way is you get the really crunchy bottom. Like look at how well brown that is, and the crunchy top. Great texture. Like really crispy edges, which I love. The interior is pretty light. And to me, they don't need butter because there's so much butter already in there. Look at that nice fluffy interior. See that? Relatively forgiving, as long as you don't have them fall out of the freezer. To me, this is a great like dinner, instead of a dinner roll, instead of something yeasted, put these warm on the dinner table along with whatever you're eating. So, so delicious. You don't want to bake all 16 biscuits at once. You can freeze half or however many on the plate. It'll freeze them solid, and then you can take them off the plate, pack them into a plastic bag or like a resealable silicone bag, store them in the freezer, and then bake them from frozen. And they'll just take like a minute or two longer in the oven. You can use miso not just in savory cooking, but in baking also, and it gives you like really incredible, delicious, savory kind of depth of flavor. So thank you for watching me make these miso buttermilk biscuits. So delicious, a great way to practice your technique for making flaky pastry. Remember, cold butter, cold liquid, don't work it too much, but you know, that kind of folding and stacking technique will give you beautiful and impressive layers. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes and like and subscribe.